So you're planning a trip to Yellowstone. Awesome. You've seen the epic photos of Old Faithful, the endless bison herds, and the mind-bending colors of Grand Prismatic Spring. You've got your route all set, and you're dreaming of that perfect wild American adventure. But let's be real for a second. You're probably about to make the same critical mistakes that can turn a dream vacation into a nightmare of traffic jams, missed sights, and maybe even a dangerously close call. You'll spend more time staring at the bumper of a minivan than a grizzly bear. You'll discover every hotel and campsite is booked solid for 100 miles, and you might just become another news headline for doing something you'll regret. This isn't going to be one of those glossy travel guides. I'm going to give you the essential survival tips that will help you dodge the tourist hordes and experience the real, untamed heart of Yellowstone, like someone who's in on the secret. This is what separates a frustrating trip from the adventure of a lifetime. Hey guys, we just got back from an amazing week-long adventure to Yellowstone and learned some important things along the way that we want to share with you. Let's get into it. The first mistake that gets almost every first-timer is failing to understand just how massive Yellowstone is. People glance at the map, see the figure 8 grand loop, and think, yeah, I can knock that out in a day. That, my friends, is a recipe for a miserable time. That loop is 142 miles of winding 2-lane road. Driving it non-stop, which you won't, takes anywhere from 4 to 7 hours. And the issue isn't just the mileage, it's the beautiful, unpredictable chaos of the park. You're not on a highway, you're in one of America's wildest places. The number one cause of delays? Bison. A herd of bison using the road is a classic bison jam, and it can bring traffic to a dead stop for an hour or more. You don't honk, you don't get out, you just wait. It's part of the magic, but it will shatter a tight schedule. The fix is to stop thinking of Yellowstone as one place and start seeing it as a collection of different zones. Plan your days by region. Dedicate a day to the geyser basins around Old Faithful. Spend another exploring the north near Mammoth Hot Springs, and give a full day to the Serengeti of North America, the Lamar Valley, for the best wildlife spotting. Always assume every drive will take twice as long as your GPS says. Pack your patience, start your days ridiculously early, and build buffer time into your plan. The park runs on its own clock, not yours. Number 2. The critical mistake of last-minute planning. If you think you can just waltz into Yellowstone in July and find a place to stay, you're in for a shock. The second biggest mistake is not booking your accommodations far, far in advance. And I'm not exaggerating. Lodges inside the park open for reservations 13 months ahead of time and sell out almost instantly. Park-run campgrounds open 6 months out and are often gone in minutes. The penalty for this mistake is steep. You'll end up in gateway towns like Cody or Island Park, which are great places, but they can be an hour-plus drive just to reach a park entrance. Add that to the long drives inside the park, and you're spending half your vacation in a car. The survival tip here is simple and non-negotiable. Plan ahead. The second you know your dates, get online. Be ready to book the minute the reservation window opens. If you want to stay inside the park, and trust me, you do, so you can get out early and stay late, you need to be thinking about your trip more than a year out. If you miss that window, stock the reservation site daily for cancellations. Bottom line, spontaneity and Yellowstone do not mix. A place to sleep inside or right next to the park is the foundation of a great trip. Number 3. The tourist approach to crowds. During peak hours, Yellowstone can feel less like a national park and more like Disney World with geysers. The boardwalks at Grand Prismatic Spring and Old Faithful become a slow-moving river of people, making it impossible to get a clear view or a moment of peace. The mistake is trying to see the headliners in the middle of the day, between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m., when the park is an absolute zoo. The pro move is to live on a totally different schedule. Get up before the sun. If you arrive at a hotspot like Grand Prismatic before 8 a.m., you might share it with a few photographers. The light is better, the air is crisp, and the experience is 1,000 times more powerful. The same rule applies in the evening. While everyone else is heading back to town for dinner, you should be heading out. The hours from 6 p.m. to dusk are pure magic. Wildlife gets more active, the crowds evaporate, and you get to enjoy a quiet sunset. Pack your own food to avoid long lines at restaurants, see the big attractions at the start and end of the day, and use the midday gridlock to explore lesser-known trails or scenic detours like Firehole Canyon Drive. Next up, ignoring the most important piece of gear. You can have the fanciest camera and the most expensive hiking boots, but you're making a huge mistake if you forget one key piece of gear. I'm talking about binoculars. It sounds almost too simple, but not having a good pair of binoculars is one of the most common regrets I hear. Yellowstone's landscapes are enormous. Wildlife, especially predators like bears and wolves, are often hundreds of yards away, sometimes even a mile out in Lamar Valley or Hayden Valley. Without binoculars, a grizzly bear is just a brown dot. A pack of wolves is completely invisible. You'll see a crowd of cars pulled over and have no idea what they're looking at, which leads to the dangerous temptation to get closer. Here's the solution. Buy or rent a decent pair of binoculars for everyone in your group. If you're serious about seeing wolves, a spotting scope is even better. Binoculars totally transform your trip. They let you respect the safe viewing distances while seeing incredible details. The powerful muscles of a bison, the thick fur on a bear, the social dynamics of a wolf pack. They aren't just an accessory, they're as essential as your water bottle. Moving on to number 5. This is the most important tip in this entire video. Getting this wrong can cost you your life, or an animal its life. The single most dangerous mistake a tourist can make is disrespecting the wildlife. The animals here are truly wild. They are not tame, they are not your friends, and calling a 2,000-pound bison a fluffy cow is a dangerously cute mistake. The rules are not suggestions. You must stay at least 100 yards, or the length of a football field, away from bears and wolves. For all other animals, including bison and elk, it's at least 25 yards. Bison have injured more people in Yellowstone than any other animal. They can run 3 times faster than you and will charge you without warning. Do not ever approach an animal for a selfie. So here's the survival plan. First, memorize those distances. Use your zoom lens or your binoculars. If an animal walks towards you, it's your job to back away and keep that distance. Second, never ever feed wildlife. An animal that gets human food becomes a danger and often has to be put down by park rangers. Third, when you're hiking, make noise. Talk loudly or yell, "Hey bear," every so often so you don't surprise one. Travel in groups and always carry bear spray. And don't bury it in your backpack. It needs to be on your hip or chest, ready to go. And finally, in Yellowstone's geyser basins, the ground itself can kill you. The Earth's crust is razor thin, covering pools of boiling, acidic water. The most horrific and easily avoided mistake is stepping off the designated boardwalks. People do it every year for a slightly better photo, and the consequences are nightmarish. More people have died from falling into Yellowstone's hot springs than from bear attacks. The water can be over 200 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to cause fatal burns in seconds. This survival tip is the simplest one I have. Stay on the boardwalk. No exceptions. Hold your kids' hands. Pay attention to the signs. Those paths are there to protect you from the lethal ground beneath, and to protect the fragile formations from you. Thinking the rules don't apply to you in a thermal area is a deadly gamble. If these tips helped you out, do me a favor and hit that like button, and subscribe for more travel adventure. Now, I want to hear from you. For the Yellowstone veterans watching, what is the one survival tip you'd give a first-timer? Drop it in the comments below. Your advice might just save someone's trip. Yellowstone isn't a zoo or an amusement park. It's a living, breathing, wild place that demands both respect and preparation. But by avoiding these common blunders, by planning ahead, respecting the park's massive scale, outsmarting the crowds, and putting safety first, you can have an experience that goes far beyond typical tourism. You can connect with one of the last great wildernesses on Earth. Plan smart, stay safe, and go have the adventure of a lifetime.
make sure to hit the like button.
For more adventure videos, go to our YouTube channel, Bomb Bros Adventures, where you can follow along on our journey.
Thanks for watching! See you next time!
Is that better? He's trying. You guys need to push up.